Well, hey there, YouTube. Now, this video is nominally about Erbswurst, but I want to take, first off, I want to extend my heartfelt wishes for a fast recovery for Blackie Thomas. The bushcraft and backcountry camping community was kind of shocked and roiled by news that he had suffered a stroke. There is a GoFundMe page to help him with his medical bills. I will post a link to that. Get well soon, Blackie. Your input is invaluable to this community. Secondly, I want to thank everybody. A little bit, come here, come see me. Secondly, I want to thank everybody for asking about the health and well-being of Little Bit. I know that I mentioned in my last video with the scene of the crime that I had to rush home to check up on her. The little colonel was taking care of her while I was in New Hampshire, and she kind of developed some tummy troubles that had us worried. She's not quite out of the woods yet, but she's a whole lot better than she was a couple weeks ago. And we just want to let you know that she's 15 years old. We're getting real close to that day that we all know is coming. But I just want you to take a look at her and let me see if I can get her. She's sweet. She's sweet. God has sent me a bunch of dogs over the past 70 some odd years. And I want to thank him right now for sending the last one as the best one. The best dog I have ever had is the last dog I probably ever will have. She's not going to be with me much longer. I know that. But this dog is just a constant source of joy. And she is the most loving dog in the world. Everybody loves Little Bit. Little Bit loves everybody. So thank you for your well wishes and prayers there. Okay, Erbswurst. Now, I made an earlier video last year on the subject of Erbswurst. I'm not going to dwell too much on the history and everything because you can find that in that other video. I will link to that at the end of this one. When I did that first video, it was about a substitute that Abercrombie & Fitch had come up with to replace Erbswurst as a popular backpacking, trekking, camping, backcountry camping food. It was immensely popular in the early part of the 20th century, right up until just before the Second World War. The replacement was made because we were at war with Germany, and at the time, Germany was the primary source for Erbswurst. Now, I'll admit I did it because I was kind of a coward. I didn't want to do a whole lot of cooking on it, and this was a quick and easy substitute. There are somewhere around a dozen, maybe more, maybe less videos on Erbswurst on YouTube. Maybe about 2 dozen. I did a quick search. Most of them are in German, and they're talking about a product made by the Knorr company that they stopped making in about, I think, 2008 or so, or 2018. It's no longer on the shelves. So there are a lot of German and English language reviews of that product. There are a few less videos on how to make Erbswurst. And that, I think, is a shame, because it is a good food and it's quick and easy. It is a survival food, okay? That was its initial design, and it's still good for that. It will deliver, it's a quick protein delivery system. And you'll see in the ingredients in the video that follows just what entails it. Now, I was inspired by another YouTuber, and I will link that video down in the comments, to go back and pursue making Erbswurst. But I was put off with all of these videos show a lot of cooking. Okay, cooking of the bacon, cooking of the onions. Okay, I didn't want to go to that trouble. And I don't think you really need to go to that trouble. What I'm showing you here is a way to make Erbswurst where you don't have to do any cooking at all other than melting some bacon fat. The rest of it is just mixing dry ingredients and putting the bacon fat in it. So let's take a look at how to make some quick and easy no-cook Erbswurst. Okay, let's make some Erbswurst. Tools you're going to need. First thing you're going to have to do is go to Amazon and buy some of these. Now, I have cut these up into sizes of 6 cells and 3 cells. They originally come in one big 15-cell mold. Okay, you don't need to do that. I do this so that it will fit in my dehydrator. I do recommend those off of Amazon because they are of the proper size. Now, what is the proper size? Well, again, these are to make tea candles with, these little tea candles. This is something else you probably should get, okay? This is a little battery-powered tea candle. Measuring cups. Quarter cup, half cup, and 1 cup measures. Okay? Teaspoon measures. 1 teaspoon, 1/2 teaspoon, 1/4 teaspoon. You're going to need all 3 of them. Okay, you will need a saucepan of some sort. I've got this, it's a vintage enamelware pot, and it's got this little pour spout. This is for melting the secret ingredient. I will be melting my secret ingredient, my bacon grease, on an electric heating pad here. You don't need to do that. I do that because the bacon grease is phenomenally flammable. Don't like to have it around the flame. And I can do it right here on the kitchen island. So you should have a bowl of some sort, a butter knife, a 1 gallon freezer bag, a spoon, and a blender or food processor. Your ingredients. Your primary ingredient, split pea flour. Okay, this is from Hearthy Foods. I order it direct from the manufacturer. We'll put a link in the comment section on where to get this. This is great. This is really good stuff. Okay, you need some real bacon bits. Okay, for every cup of pea flour that you're going to use, you will use 1 full package of bacon bits. Okay, you will need some dehydrated vegetable soup mix. Okay, this is from Harmony House. If you got any kind of prepping supplies at all, you're familiar with Harmony House. Okay, you will need that. You will need some dehydrated onions. Okay, various other spices, thyme. This is nutmeg. This is marjoram. Excuse me. And you will need the secret ingredient, bacon grease. You can use lard. Okay, as a matter of fact, the recipe actually calls for lard. When storing this Erbswurst, it will last longer, it will store longer if you use lard. But if you're looking for a little bit of flavor in your Erbswurst, use the secret ingredient. Okay, now your Hearthy Foods, they're real smart people. They're giving you a resealable plastic pouch. Now, we place this inside this sacrificial bowl here, just so that we don't get stuff spread out all over the countertop. Now, you want to come in here and you want to measure out 1 cup of this pea flour. There is 1 level cup of pea flour. That goes into the blender. Okay, 1 bag of real bacon bits. That goes into the blender. So what we've got here now is 1 cup of pea flour and a half cup or 1 cup of bacon bits. And now we're going to add in a half a cup of soup vegetables. There we go, half cup of vegetables. Okay, we need a 1/4 cup of this onion. More or less to taste. If you like onion, put in more. If you don't like onion, don't use any. But the original Erbswurst had a nice onion component. Okay, so there's a 1/4 cup of dried onions. Boom. I told you this is an easy recipe. We haven't cooked a dang thing yet. Okay, now we're going to add some spices. Marjoram. Let's see, let me just check my handy thing. Marjoram, get about a ½ teaspoon. Thyme, 1/4 teaspoon. Doesn't take much time to do this. Never mind. Okay, a little bit of thyme in there. Let me see, where's my nutmeg? There it is right there. And we need another 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. Smells good. 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. Okay, one thing I did forget to tell you, you are going to need a mixing bowl. You are going to get a mixing bowl dirty. Turn it on, and we're going to hit, oh, let's see. 2 chopping salt in. We're going to pulse it. We're just going to keep an eye on it. Wait till it's all mixed up. Wait till you can't see the little granules of bacon and soup vegetables. We want a fine powder. Okay. Okay, so now what we're going to get is our 1 gallon freezer bag, and we're just going to transfer the contents of the bowl into the bag. We don't want to mix this whole big bowl at one time. So we're going to transfer the contents into the bag without making a gigantic mess in front of everybody on YouTube. Okay, and we're going to take a little bit of opportunity that this bag gives us. We're going to seal it, and we're just going to scrunch it up some more in the bag. Okay, again, to make sure that any clumps, and we got a uniform consistency, and it's a good powder, and it's all very well mixed. Okay, so next we're going to pop the top on the bacon grease can. And we're going to ladle in a couple of spoonfuls of bacon grease. I know I'm not going to be exact. We're going to put more in than we're going to need, and then What we don't use, we're just going to pour right back in. Okay, it looks like our secret ingredient, our bacon grease, has been fully rendered down to a liquid form, and now we're going to mix it up with our Erbswurst powder. Now let me just tell you, we took 1 cup of powdered flour and turned it into about 3 cups of ingredients. You can mix this whole batch if you want to. But I generally like to make smaller batches if it's just going to be me and a buddy or two, okay, where I only need about 5 or 6 pucks, let's call them pucks, 5 or 6 pucks of Erbswurst to make soup. I close this up, put it in the refrigerator or the freezer. It'll last forever, and then all you need to do to make any more is to melt just some bacon fat. And I'll tell you right now, this kitchen smells absolutely fan-frickin-tastic from this bacon grease. Okay, let us pour out a moderate quantity. Okay, does that look moderate to you? We'll get the grease that's on the spoon melted. Okay, and we just want to make sure that we have taken out any clumps. Pour in an itty bitty part, and you'll notice I'm using technical terms like itty bitty, and you just want to stir that up, scrunching it with the spoon, making sure that it gets fully incorporated. Turn that down some. Okay, you don't want to use too much bacon fat, but you don't want to use too little either. Okay, again, I sure hope you can see this a little bit more. Some of them drier ingredients. What we're trying to do is we're trying to get this to the consistency of beach sand. Okay, not too dry, not too wet. And it's best to start out with a smaller quantity, and if you've got too much bacon grease in here, well then you can always add a little bit more powder. Okay, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to throw in a dash of powder and then make this not quite so wet. Okay, I hope you can see that. We'll look at this camera here, and then we'll show it to you in this camera here. It's about the consistency of beach sand. Okay, so the next step is get your paper towel. Slob you some bacon grease on it, and just liberally apply bacon grease to all of the cells of your mold. Okay, now I'm using the 6-cell mold. I probably won't fill all 6 cells, but I'm not going to make a whole bunch of this Erbswurst either. I'm just going to make enough so I can go camping in a couple of weeks. Okay, let's see if this shows us what we need to see. Grab your bunch, slide it down inside that cell, push it down, and then use your special tool to compress it. Okay, a little bit more. Put it on this plate so that any that falls off, well, we can pick it right up and put it back. Okay, compress that. See that grease coming out there. A little bit more in there. Okay, well, the battery went out on the close-up camera, but I will show you this. I'll lean in here and get that to you. That little bunch of powder that we poured out, and if you look here, we've still got a whole bunch. Okay, but I made 4 pucks. Okay, now that is enough for 1 meal for 2 men. 2 pucks each makes a meal. Okay, particularly if you mix it with some other stuff. Now what I'm going to do, and I'm not going to show you this part because you might not have a dehydrator, but I'm going to put this in the dehydrator overnight. I'm going to turn it upside down, and I'm going to have a spacer down below it to catch any grease that might fall. Okay, but what we're doing there is we're trying to consolidate it together. We're trying to dry out some of that grease, but not all of it. My dehydrator was made sometime in the 1970s. It runs at about 150 degrees. You might have one of them hipsy-pipsy A#1 top-of-the-line brand spanking new electronic dehydrators running about 150, 200 degrees overnight. Okay? All right. We'll see you in the morning. Show you the next step. Okay. There she be. And if you look, still pretty greasy, but we're just going to take them now. We're going to let them chill. Till after lunch. Okay, let's get that stuff out of the fridge. Okay, I'll step a little closer to the camera here so you can get a look at that. That's what it's like coming out of the fridge. You'll see the grease is pretty much gone. It's been incorporated into the pucks, and they're a little bit drier, easier to handle. Let me take them out here now. And again, let me walk over here and show that to you. See how that looks? That's some good soup right there. Now, once these start getting warm, they're going to start to fall apart a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to package them so that we can set that aside to clean it later. If you look here, I've got one of my molds similar to the one that I put them in. And this right here, and I'll come over here and show you. This is one I had left over from that batch I made for squirrel camp. And you can see here, it's all wrapped up in wax paper. And in order to do that, what we do is we take one of the molds, and I cut these 5" by 5" pieces of wax paper, and take my little tool and smoosh it down in there to give it a little bit of shape, and then push those pucks in, fold it over good, and give it kind of a little shove. Repeat the process. Put the puck in. You don't want to get the puck out of there. You want to get the puck in there. Okay, let me get all 4 of these in there, and then we'll go to the next step. Okay, so the next step is packaging these little puckers here so that you can carry them in your pack or your haversack. There's 2 ways you can do it. The first way, let me just show you. This is easy way. It's cheap. You just need a toilet paper roll. Okay, and you put your little puckers down inside that roll. And then this last one, what you want to do is you want to turn it upside down. And that way, on both ends of your roll, you've got the flat end of the puck, and you don't have an open end. Then you just take it, get yourself a regular old sheet of copy paper. Roll it up, twist the ends, and tie each end off with a piece of postal twine. Okay, but I will warn you, I have done this, and eventually there's enough grease in here that it will soak into the toilet paper tube and into the paper outside, and that might transfer the contents of your pack. But the way I would prefer for you to do it is to help me make a couple of bucks, and I'll do a video on how these are put together. These are going to be for sale on Vico Expedition Outfitters. I'll come up here and show it to you. This is a mailing tube. Mailing tubes were really popular in most of the 20th century. You could put all sorts of small articles in these things and mail them, and it would be safe. This has got a mailing label on it, and if you can see here, it is from Vico Expedition Outfitters, and it would be to you. This will be sent as a kit. You would fill in whatever address you wanted here. Also have a nice postage from a postal meter. Let me see if I can get that. There it is. They would have postal meters on a piece of tape, and it would stamp the date and the time. And if you look at the date on this, it's 1930 something. So this would be good for anywhere from 1930 until 1939. If you want it before 1935-36, ask for the NRA stamp, and I will stamp on the National Recovery Act stamp. So the way these are going to come to you is they will have the postage and the label on it. Also going to have a little piece of HBT tape that will help you pull these puckers out of there, as well as a piece of white, piece of paper to wrap around the edge. I'll show you the picture up here to show you what the final product will look like. And you pull on that string, and then you can remove the cap. So here's how we load those. Okay, so to load, you take your HBT tape, kind of push it down a little bit, take your first puck, and ooze it down in there. It's a very tight fit. And then take another puck, slide it in. Okay, can you see that? 5 pucks, and to get them out of there, you just grab your HBT tape and pull. There we go. Okay, now to cook these, to cook the Erbswurst puck, take 2 of these and put them in a canteen cup full of cold water. Let them set. Take them out of the wax paper. Let them set for a while. You can use the wax paper as kindling to start your campfire with. While you're working your campfire, these will start to dissolve in your canteen cup. Then you boil the water. You can add all sorts of things to Erbswurst soup. It is a soup base. I like to slice sausage and put sliced sausages in. And one of the things I'm going to try, hold on a second, let me get it out. One of the things I'm going to try next time I go out with this stuff is I'm going to make some potato soup, okay, with these half browns. I should just be able to load up that soup with a whole bunch of these potatoes and mash it all together, and that will give me some kind of potato soup. As far as meats are concerned, as I said, sausage, jerky, and dried beef are real good ingredients to put in this Erbswurst. Dried beef was very, very popular in the early part of the 20th century, for most of the 20th century. Not quite so much today. It's a little salty, but there's no salt in this recipe. So you shouldn't get overly salted. So there you go. I'm going to put together another how-to video on these so that you can order them from Vico Expedition Outfitters. Sorry, I am not licensed to sell food, so you're not going to get any Erbswurst out of me, but you will get these mail-in tubes that can be used for just about anything. Okay, well, there you go. Now let me just say, first off, what I show you there in that video is probably longer than what it takes to actually make that first batch of Erbswurst. It doesn't really take much more than about 25-30 minutes once you've got all your stuff assembled and all you're doing is measuring and mixing dry ingredients in a bowl. If you don't have a blender or a food processor, you could crush it with a hammer or mortar and pestle. I do recommend that the blender speeds things up. You don't need a dehydrator, although you probably should let them sit and dry for a day or so before you put them in the refrigerator to congeal, just to get some of that moisture out. But other than that, you don't need any of those tools that I showed you other than the measuring devices and something to melt your bacon fat on. It's a good food. It really is. Horace Kephart wrote a paragraph on it, a couple of paragraphs. He actually wrote more on Erbswurst than he did on some pieces of gear. It's a good, nutritious, quick food. You can eat it cold. It's better if you eat it hot. You dissolve it in water. If you're foraging for water, you can actually boil your water and purify it at the same time as you're cooking. It's the purpose of cooking anyways, to kill germs. You should try it. You should put in a good supply. A pound of that Erbswurst will make you enough Erbswurst pucks. Like I said, about between 30 and 45 pucks worth of Erbswurst. It's very cheap, very easy, stores for a long frickin' time, especially if you put it in the freezer after you make it. And it should be on everybody's list, both for 1920s, 1930s classic camping or traditional camping, as well as just a plain old survival food. So give it a shot. And when, by the way, all you guys at the squirrel camp who got Erbswurst, none of you guys ate that stuff. You should eat it. Do a video on it. I'm hurt. I'm hurt. I'm hurt. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to see you down the trail.